Hi guys, this
Hi.
is Andy Turner from Selden, bringing you the best thought leaders from technology, transportation, big data, data science.
And this is Bibop.
And this is Bibop. So earlier in the week we had Chris, Managing Director of Techstars. Today we've got Bibop. Bibop,
Hi.
just seen you on stage at Startup Grind. Great show.
Thank you.
Great show. But what we're going to do is we're just going to start off from the top and ask you, can I ask you, so, you know, for the viewers, who are you? What does Hyperloop do?
Okay.
And yeah, tell us a bit about your role.
I'm Bibop Gresta. I'm the co-founder, chairman, and they call me Chief Bibop Officer of Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, the startup that actually took the Elon Musk project. 2 weeks after Elon published the white paper, we asked the permission to actually create the company, and we are here actually almost 4 years later, starting to build the first Hyperloop.
Yes.
So my company does a very simple thing, and we create a capsule. It can be 28 people, 30 or 40 people. We put this capsule inside the tube. We suck out the air from the tube so there's no resistance. Now you can move the capsule from point A to point B at almost the speed of sound using a tiny fraction of the energy. And
Wow.
that's the basic concept.
Wow. So, and I've learned you've got around sort of 900 scientists and engineers.
Yeah,
working on this.
860 and growing 60 a month. The key concept of what we created is not only a very disruptive technology, but also the way we created the company is disruptive. We have a model that is called crowdsourcing, so people can actually contribute hours in exchange of our stock options. And now we have people from 42 countries. They contributed more than 60,000 hours.
Wow.
And they contributed not only hours, but also pumps, engineering. We have 40 of the biggest top companies in the world in construction, engineering, you know, design firms, architects. And we raised, if we can say that, more than 100 million in this way.
Wow.
And we're now heading for the construction of the first one. We signed contracts with 7 nations.
Wow.
Slovakia, Czech Republic, France, Spain, Indonesia, California, and now Abu Dhabi. The goal actually is to build the first one, the first full-scale one, and we signed deals that actually involve also, after the feasibility study, a construction. So we are very near to announce the second phase of the Hyperloop that is actually building. We started to build the most difficult part, that is the capsule.
Yeah.
To design an airframe is really complicated, and we used companies that already know how to do it. Carbures is a tier 2 manufacturer of Airbus.
Yeah.
And guess what? The technology was already there. And that's what we did. We are basically creating an airplane without the problem of an airplane. Because, as you know, the problem of the airplane is constant pressurization and depressurization. And in the Hyperloop, we found a way to keep the capsule constantly under the 10 to 1 Pascal of pressure, using a special designed doors that can actually depressurize only the space that you need to exit the capsule.
Wow.
So the capsule is constantly under vacuum.
That's
and
amazing.
that was the key point, because then you defatigue the airframe, and with the consequences that it's more safe than an airplane, and also more reliable, because we don't have all the breaking points of an airplane. So it's a very advanced technology, but in reality we haven't invented anything. We used technology that were already existing, stolen from different industries, using partners that know how to do that.
Interesting. Okay. So it reminds me of recently read a PwC Sustainability New Technology document.
Yeah.
And it was talking a lot about relationships with governments,
Yeah.
and obviously you talked about the deals with countries. Generally speaking, have you had resistance? Has there been, you know, a lot of, you know, they've been very much behind you, the governments? Airbnb, for example, they get resistance here, they get, you know, welcomed on this side by this government.
In general, I have to admit that I wasn't expecting this overwhelming welcoming on the Hyperloop project. We've had a request from 140 countries. That was unexpected. Yeah.
Wow.
The reality of the fact, the real question is, are all these requests real? A lot of them are not. That's why when we go in a country, we ask some commitments.
Yeah.
So the reason why we signed only 7 and we are in negotiation with 20 is that we only go with the countries that wants to actually put some money on the table to do feasibility study. We offer to finance half of it, but half of it has to be paid by the government for only one reason. We need to be sure that they are committed actually to actually go into a second phase. And the only way is to see and to exist in their balance sheet. And that worked, and that is actually the approach that lead us to grow so fast.
Brilliant.
And we have an approach that is local. We usually go in a country, set up a company there, use local partner, local skills, try as much as we can to use the knowledge that the country has. For example, we are differentiating our research center. We are opening 7 research centers around the world, and we are opening strategically in each country, benefiting from the history of the country. In Toulouse, we are benefiting from the aerospace industry that Airbus created. The government is giving us a big research and development facility, big building with funds, and a lot of engineering can be done there because of their expertise. In Slovakia, their expertise in material design. And in that place, for example, we are creating the Vibranium. That if you're a Marvel fan, is the material that Capital America
Okay.
We actually created the material. It's a smart material that is a composite. There is a mix between carbon fiber and a special resin. There is a polymer. They have sensors in it, like thin like air, that can actually create materials that react to temperature, pressure, and with the big data analysis can actually predict cracks and leaks. So this new generation of components, we are developing it in countries that actually have the knowledge to do that. And in all the different places in the planet, that's what we are doing right now.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're not going to hold you much longer. We're just going to dive a bit into machine learning because a lot of the viewers are engineers, data scientists, hardcore. And then I've just got a couple of questions at the end around the wrapping stuff. And I'm going to tell you my favourite old school wrapper as well. Okay, so in terms of machine learning, so Selden, we're machine learning deployment for enterprise. How important is machine learning in what you're doing, your engineers are doing in your day-to-day, and also maybe touching on some use cases which you've already done, and also some thoughts about machine learning and AI in the future?
So imagine that the biggest threat that transportation has in the planet is one element. It's called human. We are taking out as much as we can that element, that threat that is threatening our life, and the 70% of the accidents in transportation are unfortunately caused by human error. We will adopt a approach that is basically, we call it swarm intelligence. So we are using AI to actually not only learn, but also behave like nature. We are mimicking the behavior of ants. The ant is capable of actually checking the environment, and we analyze 6 kilometers inside the tube, and then the first capsule will communicate to the second, and communicate to the third, and communicate to the fourth. And this approach is capable, in case mothership loses control of our capsule, this approach will allow the capsule to take decision. And sometimes the best decision is to switch tube. Sometimes the best decision will be to stop. Sometimes we'll be going back home, whatever it is. It's the nearest station or the central station, or in case of extreme emergency, actionate the locks and then repressurize by opening the valves in 15 seconds and bring it to the Armstrong limit so people can breathe and actually evacuate the tube from the air. So there's nothing comparable that can be so safe on the ground if you consider the risk that we have when we are traveling in a high-speed rail or in an airplane. We can reach 10 times better safety levels because it's very easy to understand. When you are encapsulated inside the tube, you are protected from the environment. There's no weather condition that can influence you. You can't have a cow stuck in the middle of the rail, or you can't have a guy deciding to hijack the capsule inside a building. We also spray our tubes and pylons with a special material called Kevlar that can resist 1 kiloton explosion. So we're trying to make terrorists hard time. But the key trick to be safe is actually using data mining. That's where artificial intelligence comes in place, because you can actually use predictive algorithm to analyze the entire movement of people from the moment they push the app to the moment they arrive to destination. The incredible thing about transportation is that it's extremely inefficient. 70% of the operation that you do at the station, you can actually do it even before you arrive there. So we are imagining a travel that is completely frictionless. And in the way we are actually developing our communication system between the capsules, and also all the network that we are creating inside the tube, you can actually conceive a parallel internet that can actually be not only safe in terms of security, but it can also be the base to create a backbone of a new generation of communication. For example, MeshNet for the more technical of your viewers, they can actually get rid of the dependence of physical infrastructure. So that's the majority of our investment in engineering time in the AI is actually on creating this new generation of networks.
Wow, okay, lots to take in there. That's great. So 2 more questions. So the first question is, at Selden we tell a lot of people those companies that build and deploy the best predictive models the fastest will win the race. What do you think about that statement?
I don't know if I agree. I think, what we are demonstrating is that technology, the best technology, is the result of a sum of knowledge. And our model is putting together the best minds in the planet, right? And we have people working in NASA, working together with people from IBM, people from retired scientists from the Lawrence Livermore Lab, and so on. And the sum of these experiences and using an approach that is more similar to Scrum and Agile than the normal traditional way is giving us the best results, because each topic is analyzed and vivisected, and we have at least 5 or 10 solutions for each of the problem we are launching out there. We call it crowdstorm. So we do brainstorm on the crowd. Right? So I think in the future these systems will be used more and more and will not belong to one company. It will be part of a shared knowledge that I hope will change everything, including the possibility to get rid of the consumption economy that we base our society. This craziness. I mean, basing an economy based on unlimited resources in a planet that has limited resources is fucked up.
Absolutely.
And we need to change this. And this is the first example of that this is possible.
Well, big respect for that. On YouTube, I saw you say, to understand the future, you need to look at the past. So, final question, what, from your experiences as a rapper and also running 21 Records label,
very bad rapper.
what lessons did you learn back then in those times that you still carry with you and use today?
That's a very good question. Thank you. I think what The biggest mistake that humanity did is to actually extrapolate art from science. You know, the initial scientists that we had in this planet were artists. You know, Leonardo da Vinci was creating the best technologies that the 15th century had, but it was also painting. It was an artist. The concept of science was art. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, when the religion kicked in into the process of founding these artists, and the artists started to express their thoughts about religion, the Pope was not agreeing with that. So they had to take two separate roads, because now the artist has to say and represent what the Pope wanted, but the scientists were not agreeing, right? Remember the famous examples of persecuted scientists from the church. So I think what I learned is that this is something that we need to go back to the original meaning of art, that is science. And there's a new generation of scientists that are super badass artists. So I think what I learned is that it doesn't matter how you dress, it's important to express yourself. And the geek style of scientists with glasses and ugly, you know, it's ended. What we have to do is to actually spread the message to the young generation that you can be, you know, cool and do your art, and you are cooler if you actually embrace science and you improve humanity. You can still, you know, sing and do the rest of the things, but I think it's more important right now, you know, to have right role models. I remember my role models were very bad people. Iron Maiden, Rolling Stones, they were stoners, okay? The rappers were actually very bad people in life. I think right now we see a new generation of kids that are, the new rock stars are entrepreneurs. The Steve Jobs, the people that are actually changing the planet. So important, so important. And we need to push this, because that's the new generation of rock stars. They are entrepreneurs. I want to push especially women to embrace science, you know, scientific studies. We need more women entrepreneurs. And it's fun, girls. It's not boring as they thought.
Well, I totally buy into that vision, and I definitely agree. Actually, on the comment about women, we've been lucky enough to get a deep mind female speaker to speak at our event next week. A lot of the girls at our last event were saying we need more women. You know, we want more women to come. So I totally agree. Okay, so last question. So just before the last question, I've got to thank our partner, eventadvisor.com, the place to go to find the best events rated by you people.
Check it out here.
Check it out here. Okay, so I'm intrigued. Who's your favourite rapper? I'll tell you mine first. Mine was actually a rap group, Farside, 1995, Lab Camp in California. I listened to the album again recently, and I realised I still know the lyrics. So how about you? Have you got a favourite rapper? Or?
So I think I passed a lot of period of my life. Run DMC, of course, was my old best, but I think I will be so criticized about that. I know I will regret all my life about this. MC Hammer. Sorry, but I know it's so, you know, too legit. I know.
You got that move down. Okay. Well, look, Bibop, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Thanks. Ciao.